our safety, we ask for ID. Now you're obligated by the state to do that.
If you don't use our rights, if you don't flex your rights, that's where it's going to go, right there, Nazi Germany.
You give up your rights when you're in the car. Whatever the traffic stop was, it doesn't really matter.
We have every right to take you out of this car while we conduct the traffic stop.
Even when I'm not being arrested, I wasn't driving, I don't have any probable cause.
A passenger who committed no crime suddenly found himself being threatened with arrest during a routine traffic stop. His only offense? Refusing to tell the police who he was.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Whatever the traffic stop was, it doesn't really matter. I'm not here for that, obviously. Just
in case I started recording, because
that's fine.
If anything, if I need it for court or anything.
You can record all you want, no problem. You're obligated when you're in a motor vehicle to present your ID.
When you're driving?
When you're in the motor vehicle, yes, like right now.
Can I see what law is that?
I don't have the law book on me, I know the law.
What should have been a simple speeding citation quickly turned into a constitutional showdown on the side of a Rhode Island roadway. One driver was accused of speeding, but officers weren't satisfied with speaking to the driver alone. They wanted information from everyone inside the vehicle.
I'd rather stay here where this is recording, in case something happens.
Mr. Lawyer, okay?
No, I told him I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. But I value my rights. I have rights. I know the Constitution. I know what rights I have.
We do it with every single car
You
stop.
give up your rights when you're in the car.
When you're driving.
When you're driving.
When you're driving.
You have to present your ID.
Yeah, when you're driving.
If you don't have your ID, that's fine. But you got to give them a name.
I'm not giving out my name just because. Because you're gonna start. I need your name. I need your date of birth. You're gonna look me up. You're gonna have my address. You're gonna have all the information. Yeah. But what crimes did I commit?
The driver handed over his license without hesitation. But when officers demanded identification from the passenger, something unexpected happened. Instead of complying, he calmly asked a question. What law requires a passenger to identify himself when he hasn't committed a crime?
He didn't say you committed any, did he?
No one's saying. We do it with every single car stop.
Yep.
As far as you getting out of the car, I know you're thinking you're Joe Attorney.
No, I don't think that.
If
I don't think that.
If you're getting arrested, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not.
All right. So when you say I'm being arrested, then we'll take it from there.
Why would I say that? Why would I say you're being arrested if
I don't
you're
know.
sitting in the passenger
Yeah,
seat
because you're asking me for my name, my date of birth.
That's just for our safety. That's why we do that.
Yeah, but why did he get pulled over? Right?
Had him for speeding.
Okay, so that's his problem.
The officers immediately answered with confidence. According to them, anyone inside a vehicle was legally obligated to provide identification during a traffic stop. There was just one problem. The passenger knew enough about his rights to question whether that claim was actually true.
But you're in the car, okay?
Yeah, but I didn't commit a crime. I didn't speed.
We're not saying that you did. We identify everyone in the car.
You're not
every
listening
single car
to me.
stop.
I am listening.
Okay. When you get out of the car, okay, we don't just arrest people to get out of the car. We just don't tell you to get out. It's for the heck of it, okay? For our safety, we ask for ID. Now you're obligated by the state to do that, okay?
Do you see anybody shooting? Do you see anybody with a bazooka?
No, I'm not here to be a debate. That's for court, okay?
All right, so whatever you got to do, but I'm not giving up my rights.
As the conversation continued, the stop slowly stopped being about speeding. It stopped being about traffic enforcement altogether. Now the entire encounter revolved around a much bigger question. Can police force a passenger to identify himself simply because he's sitting in someone else's car?
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on?
Just going home from work.
What do you want it?
Yes.
Down at once? Hey, can you hop off just for a minute? I just want to talk to you real quick.
Nah, I want to stay with the camera is recording because I don't know. I don't want to be.
Feel free to bring the camera with you.
I don't want to carry that and have it in your face,
Okay.
But
Then you know what?
I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to take you guys away from doing your job and stuff. But they say that when you have rights, either you use them or you lose them,
They repeatedly claimed state law required passengers to provide names and identification whenever police requested it during a stop. But constitutional rights don't disappear because someone accepts a ride from a friend. So where exactly was the legal authority?
Okay, but you are breaking the law.
I am.
Okay. The United States Supreme Court says that we have every right to take you out of this car while we conduct the traffic stop.
Even when I'm not being arrested, I wasn't driving, I don't have any probable cause, just with my friend, because he already got a ticket, he's late for, he's giving me a ride, as a courtesy, for me because my car broke down. I'll give you my ID, all right? Because I've been here for 31 years in this country, never been arrested, don't have any kind of...
I'm not arguing any of that.
I don't have any records, everything's clean,
The passenger remained calm. He didn't scream. He didn't insult the officers. He didn't physically resist. Instead, he continued asking for the law they were relying on. And that's when the tension started rising. This is where the Fourth Amendment enters. In Brown v. Texas, the Supreme Court ruled that police generally cannot force a person to identify themselves when officers lack reasonable suspicion that the individual is involved in criminal activity. The court made clear that mere presence is not enough. So what specific crime did officers suspect this passenger of committing?
Yeah, I try to follow all the laws. I try to learn everything, so I
But you do have to identify yourself on the police.
They say if you're being arrested, there's probable cause, or you're being a danger,
We don't know who you are as the passenger if you don't tell us. So.
Yeah, but I wasn't driving. I didn't commit any crime. There's no probable cause that I'm going to commit a crime. You didn't catch me in the act of committing a crime.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know who you are.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying too?
I do. I do. However, just so you know in the future, you do have to provide...
Yeah, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to call the chief of police and ask him, just to make sure, because if it is, and I'm wrong, the next time,
Based on everything captured during the stop, the answer appeared to be none. The passenger wasn't speeding. He wasn't driving. Officers never claimed he was dangerous, armed, or connected to any criminal activity. Yet the demand for identification continued.
Never been arrested, never been in trouble with the police, never been in any kind of trouble, ever.
You ever been stopped and asked for your ID when you're a passenger?
Well, no, never.
Never, huh?
It just because I have 2 cars, but they both broke down, so,
Gotcha.
so then he's giving me a ride for work.
The reason why we do that is obviously to check anybody, see if they have warrants or whatever. We don't know who the passenger is as far as
Yeah, but you see what the problem with that is? You cannot just go around stopping everybody and asking for IDs like Nazi Germany. You know what I mean?
Vehicles legally stopped, though, for traffic violations.
Then came the warnings. Officers began suggesting that refusal could lead to arrest. They claimed he was obstructing their investigation and repeatedly insisted that he had no choice but to comply. But does refusing to answer a question automatically become obstruction, or does the Constitution protect that refusal? This is where Hybel v. 6th Judicial District Court becomes important. Hybel allows states to require suspects to identify themselves during a lawful investigative detention under certain circumstances. But even that decision requires a valid basis for the detention itself. The key word is suspect. Was this passenger actually suspected of anything?
Accost people on the street and ask them for their identification.
Yeah, but that's where it's going.
Yep.
In New York,
Listen, we're not in New York.
it's already like that.
We're not in New York. We're in Rhode Island. Okay? And the courts say if you are stopped by the police for a legal reason, which this was a legal reason, you committed a traffic violation of some sort, we have the right to identify any passengers in the motor vehicle.
Yeah, but you know that in New York, they didn't have that law before.
We're not in New York.
I mean, but they didn't have it there. Just like they don't have it here, it might go there. If you don't use our rights, if you don't flex your rights, that's where it's going to go, right there, Nazi Germany.
That's when you notify your state rep and you...
Now, pretty soon, I'll be going down the street, walking around. Papers, please, papers.
No, that's...
As the debate intensified, officers continued pushing for identification, while the passenger continued asking for legal justification. Neither side was backing down. And the longer the discussion lasted, the more a serious constitutional issue began to emerge. Because every extra minute raised a difficult question. Were officers extending the stop solely because a passenger exercised a constitutional right? Federal courts have repeatedly addressed similar situations. In United States v. Henderson and later U.S. v. Landeros, courts recognized that officers cannot simply prolong a traffic stop to investigate a passenger who is not independently suspected of criminal activity. Reasonable suspicion must be individualized. It cannot be borrowed from the driver.
About came from a state trooper asking for identification from a bus full of people. And the Supreme Court found that it was warranted. And they can ask for identification.
So even all those innocent people that were just there along for the ride, they have to go through all this hassle, give out the names, the date of birth, and social security, just because somebody else did something? We all have to pay for it?
Then the officers attempted another justification. They referenced Supreme Court cases involving officers questioning passengers on buses and suggested courts had already approved this type of identification request. At first glance, that sounds persuasive. Cases like Florida v. Bostic involved consensual encounters where individuals remained free to decline police requests. This encounter was the exact opposite. The vehicle was seized, the occupants were detained, the passenger wasn't free to walk away. A request made during a consensual encounter is very different from a demand made during a detention.
You see?
That comes,
I want to see where it says that.
From case law.
I want to see where it says that exact word. If you get stopped, your passenger must, by law, give out his name and everything, or go straight to jail. I want to see that.
Okay, well, do you want to roll down the window?
Man, he's all set.
Yeah, he's all set. Thanks,
You have a good day, sir.
All right, man. Take care.
Appreciate it.
All right.
The problem wasn't that the officers were aggressive. The problem wasn't that anyone lost their temper. The problem was something much deeper. Constitutional rights are often violated not through malice, but through misunderstanding. When officers confidently enforce powers they do not actually possess, ordinary citizens can lose freedoms without anyone realizing it. And that is precisely why knowledge of the law matters, not just for citizens, but for the people entrusted to enforce it. Lawsuit, $1.5 million. Believing his Fourth Amendment rights had been violated, the passenger later filed a $1.5 million federal civil rights lawsuit against the officers and the department. The complaint alleged that officers unlawfully prolonged the traffic stop, coerced him into providing identification without reasonable suspicion, and relied on legal interpretations that conflicted with established constitutional precedent. The lawsuit sought compensatory damages, punitive damages, attorney's fees, and policy reforms designed to prevent similar violations during future traffic stops. A speeding ticket started the stop. A constitutional debate defined it, and one unanswered question still remains. If the people enforcing the law misunderstand its limits, who protects the rights the Constitution was written to guarantee?